Hi, Taylor Rhodes here, and today I am going to go over the rise of Skywalker, Star Wars Episode 9, which I was able to watch last night, and just try not to spoil this film for you. Because let me start off before I go anywhere with this, that a couple weeks ago I was on Reddit and I saw I had a message. I decided to click it because I didn't know if it was somebody commenting to one of my posts or anything. No, it was a private message from an anonymous person. It had a couple sentences. This person does this. This person dies. This person is this person, and this happens. And I sat there being like, I better not have just freaking read a real spoiler. And for one, that better not have just been some douchebag sending me freaking the ending of the film. It was. And I wasn't upset with what it was. I was pissed off at the fact that somebody 2 weeks before I watched the movie actually sent me a spoiler, which people are assholes. And I will say that I made a post on Twitter that led somebody to spoiling as well. But yeah, if you really spoil Star Wars or just any movie in general for people, you're the biggest dick in the world because yeah. Anyway, so let's get into episode 9. So last night we got to watch episode 9 at my theater. Like the viewing, we have to, because we're boys, we had to check it and everything. And I'm going to say, I love The Force Awakens. I hate The Last Jedi. In fact, I actually found an edited version of The Last Jedi yesterday, and I started watching it. I'm like, was this too hard for them to actually do? Because I hate The Last Jedi. And I know that The Last Jedi is critically acclaimed, and it's there, everybody praises it, critics. Whereas if you look at the audience score, it's like, thanks a lot. So, The Rise of Skywalker, from the start, is letting you know that the Emperor is back. It's not going to tell you exactly how he's back, it's just the Emperor's back, so boom. And obviously then we have the Resistance trying to stop the Emperor. Meanwhile, Rey is still trying to find out who she is, and Kylo Ren is still on the hunt trying to find Rey and change her. And I really don't want to give much, because in fact, if you don't know anything, go into the movie without knowing crap, because you're gonna freaking lose your mind watching this movie. Now, Star Wars fans wanted a Star Wars movie that was completely different, not like a carbon copy of a previous Star Wars film, such as like The Force Awakens was A New Hope. And then Rian Johnson came out and said, "Oh, The Last Jedi is completely original. It's not like any other Star Wars movie." And to a point, yeah, it's true, which pissed off a lot of us, but also not true, because the cave shit, the Mirror Cave ripoff of Empire, and in Snoke's throne room when they're looking out into space, watching the fleet being attacked, Return of the Jedi. So right there, dude, you completely ripped off of 2 other Star Wars movies after you said this is completely different. Aside from that, this Star Wars movie, I have to say, this is probably the most fast-paced Star Wars movie I've ever seen. There's something happening every freaking second in this movie. I mean, literally. From the second it starts till it ends, it is constant. Battles left and right. I mean, it kind of has to be. This is wrapping up 42 years of Star Wars, so you kind of have to do that. And you get to see the main characters, Rey, Finn, Poe, all together. You get to see these other people that are fantastic. They did so many great things with this movie. And it's literally what the fans want. Because if you're making a Star Wars movie, pandering to the fans is a good thing. For certain movies, it might not be, but to Star Wars, it is a really good thing. But Rian Johnson thinks that it's not a good thing, and there's this critic I saw on Rotten Tomatoes, speaking of, Rise of Skywalker has, at this point, like it's 60% from critics on Rotten Tomatoes, which I think is hilarious because they gave The Last Jedi like a 90 something, which, if you look at that, the critics gave it a 90 something, the fans gave it a freaking 50 because it's dog shit. But if you look at the Rise of Skywalker Rotten Tomato score, they have it as like a 60 at this point. And then I read one of the comments of one of the reviews from the critics that says panders to, like, it's pandering. And this final chapter, they gave them exactly what they wanted to see, like the fan service or whatever. And it's like, is that a bad thing? Like, with Star Wars, you kind of want it to be that, because as fans, we hated The Last Jedi. And if you did like The Last Jedi, I mean, okay, but at the same point, how? But I'm not going to sit here and just rip on somebody because they love The Last Jedi. I freaking hate it. And the way I look at it is, if you loved The Last Jedi, you're going to hate this movie. And if you hated The Last Jedi, then you're going to praise the hell out of this movie. There are so many moments in this movie that they would bring up something that was done in The Last Jedi, and then they're like, oh, no, fuck you. No, we're not doing that. It's amazing. And I loved that so much. This movie is everything that I wanted in a Star Wars movie. And going back to the point of not being anything like the previous Star Wars films, there's not a single moment in this movie that I'm like, that reminds me of this from this Star Wars movie. That reminds me of this and this and this. No, it's completely different. The places, the battles, everything feels so different. And this movie is terrifying. It is fucking terrifying. And that's because of Palpatine. Everybody knows Palpatine's in this. I'm not going to say what's going on, but he's terrifying. It's incredible. There's so many moments in this movie that are so exciting. Oh, I want to go off on spoilers, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not one of those assholes. I'm not even going to be like, oh, if you wait a bit, I'm going to spoil, because no, you're going to have to just go see the movie for yourself. I'm not letting you skip to the spoiler part so you can be like, okay, no, I don't have to see it. Or, oh my god, I can't wait to see it. No, just go freaking see it. It's Star Wars. This is 42 years in the making. They had to wrap up so much with this movie. Sorry, I heard something. They had to wrap up so much with this movie, and JJ did it so well. Critics are going to hate the shit out of this movie. I mean, they already do, because they love The Last Jedi. But as fans, oh my god, it's everything. Unless you're a Last Jedi fan, then you're going to hate this movie. But as myself and the other people watching it in the theater last night, we all hate The Last Jedi, and watching this was like, oh my god, it's the best of the sequel trilogy. It's one of the best Star Wars movies I've ever seen. They needed to be fast-paced. They needed to do something different than other Star Wars movies, and that's exactly what they did. This is freaking incredible. It is... I keep saying the same things over and over again. I love this movie, and I can't wait to watch it again. I might see it again tonight. I know I'm seeing it again this weekend in IMAX. And will my review change? No, because there's not a single moment in this film that I can complain about. When I watched The Last Jedi for my first time, I was like, oh, Canto Bite, what the hell's up with that? That's really freaking terrible. Or what's up with Luke? Why is he such a dick? You know? Sorry, I mean that old hermit in The Last Jedi. I don't know who he was. He was some guy pretending to be Luke Skywalker. This movie, every single moment, I'm like, that's so freaking amazing. And I loved it. So, what would I give it right now? I mean, out of the sequel trilogy, it's a freaking 10 out of 10. It is amazing. Is it one of the best Star Wars movies ever? Is it better than any of the original trilogy? I wouldn't say so, because how? But it's definitely one of the best Star Wars movies, and it was done absolutely perfectly. And thank you, JJ, and thank you to the cast, because you gave us a fantastic ending to the Star Wars saga. And oh my god, Lando's freaking incredible.